African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoy, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation on the 2nd of May, 2024. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces in the Belgorod direction inflicted defeat on formations of 3 mechanized brigades and an assault regiment of the Ukrainian armed forces in the areas of the settlements of Veliky Prakol, Prokody, Turia, Maripolskoye, and Petrashevka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, concentrations of manpower and equipment of the Motorized Infantry Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Volchansk, Lipsy, and Maly Prokody in the Kharkiv region were damaged that the Ukrainian armed forces lost up to 50 servicemen, an armored personnel carrier, 3 vehicles, and 4 field artillery pieces, including a U.S.-made 155mm M777 howitzer. A radar station and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces occupied more advantageous lines and positions, inflicted losses on the manpower and equipment of 6 mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a territorial defense brigade and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Kupiansk, Sobolevka, Monokonovka, Petropavlovka, Palomarevka, Peskanoy in the Kharkiv region, Regorodka in the Luhansk People's Republic, Kirovsk and Yampol in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 250 servicemen, 7 vehicles, a 155mm self-propelled artillery unit Panzerhaubitze 2000 made in Germany, a counter-battery radar station and TPQ-48 made in the USA, and 2 electronic warfare stations Cordis and Noda. 3 ammunition depots were destroyed. As a result of active actions by units of the Yasnaya Group of Forces, the settlement of Tarasovka in the Donetsk People's Republic was liberated. Defeat was inflicted on formations of 5 mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Novolanovka, Ulyanovka, Chesavyar, Ivanopoli, Minkovka, Novaya Poltavka, Berezovka, Seversk, and Yablanovka of the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian Armed Forces amounted to 335 servicemen, 3 combat armored vehicles, 8 cars, 2 artillery pieces produced by NATO countries, and 4 ammunition depots. Units of the Center Group of Forces improved the position along the forward edge, defeated concentrations of manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized, 2 assault, airmobile, ranger brigades, a brigade of unmanned systems, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 brigades of Marines, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Krasnoarmysk, Yudaknoy, Moravka, Alexievka, Grishino, Dimitrov, Zvarivo, and Novopavlovka of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 370 servicemen, 2 tanks, 5 armored combat vehicles, including a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 2 cars, and 2 artillery pieces. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance into the depths of the enemy's defense, inflicted losses on the manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized, airborne assault, and ranger brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and a Marine brigade in the areas of the settlements of Tolstoy, Volnoy Pol, Bogodar, and Zelino Pol of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy's losses amounted to 175 servicemen, a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 3 armored combat vehicles, 3 cars, 2 field artillery pieces, and an electronic warfare station. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces defeated formations of a mechanized and 2 artillery brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the areas of the settlements of Magdalanovka, Kamenskoye in the Zaporizhia region, and the city of Zaporizhia. Up to 85 servicemen, 6 vehicles, a counter-battery radar station, an electronic warfare station, 2 ammunition depots, and a military technical equipment depot were destroyed. Operational Tactical Aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the groups of troops of the armed forces of the Russian Federation inflicted damage on the infrastructure facilities of the military airfield, industrial enterprises producing military products, workshops for the production of unmanned aerial vehicles and their storage sites, the parking place of the Czech-made Vampire multiple launch rocket system, as well as temporary deployment points of armed formations of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries in 147 districts. Air defense systems destroyed 9 JDAM-guided aerial bombs and 3 U.S.-made HIMARS multiple launch rockets, 4 Czech-made Vampire multiple launch rockets, and 166 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 661 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 53,200 unmanned aerial vehicles, 604 anti-aircraft missile systems, 23,000 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,546 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 23,996 field artillery pieces and mortars, 34,445 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.